This build started out as a meme and turned into a dream. It is incredibly simple. No energy, no combo points, no core skills, and no rotations to worry about. This is the build to play after you break your hands on all of the other button mashing builds and want to sit back, relax, and watch your enemies melt as you spam Puncture into them. It can't be any simpler to breeze your way through T100 with this Puncture only build. Simply hit your enemies with Puncture, then Puncture again. Oh, and don't forget to throw the occasional smoke grenade for good measure. What are the build mechanics? This build does damage in two simple ways. 1. Single target damage using Puncture. 2. AoE damage using Andariel's Visage Poison and Storm Arrow. We build to maximize our Andariel Visage damage in two ways. 1. Hit faster. 2. Hit luckier. Skills. Why only 4 skills? 1. You can claim clear build superiority over your friends. 2. I want to use and reset Smoke Grenade as much as possible using the Hectic Vampire skill. What skills are we using? Again, there's only 4. 1. Puncture. This is for damage and proccing Andariels. 2. Invigorating Strike. This activates our close quarters combat and gives lucky hit chance. 3. Smoke Grenade. This is simply 25% extra damage and daze. And 4. Shadow Step for those times where you get crowd controlled and you need to break it. What's our rotation? Again, simple. 1. Spam Puncture. 2. Use Invigorating Strikes here and there to keep your close quarters combat up. And 3. Hit that Smoke Grenade on your enemies to get some extra damage whenever it comes up. What uniques? There are 3 that are used in this build. 1. Andariel's Visage. Gives us some poison damage. Poison damage goes boom. It heals us. 2. Frostburn. This freezes everything. And 3. Ashira's makes Puncture go brrrr. Vampire powers. We use Moonrise. This makes Puncture do the big deeps. Hectic. We like spamming smoke grenades. Undying. We don't like to die. Ravenous makes Puncture again go brrr. And Domination. Things freeze. They die. How about boss killing? How does it do it? Again, simply spam Puncture. Use your smoke grenade and shadow step. This builds up stagger really fast. And then once the boss is staggered, do the big damage by again spamming Puncture. Let's take a look at the skill tree. We take Puncture through Fundamental Puncture, which throws 3 blades, giving us 3 chances to hit a lucky hit chance, which gives us more procs. We take through Primary Invigorating Strike. This gives us more lucky hit chance. And then we take this for more defense. We take Methodical Shadow Step for the extra stagger on bosses. We take Concussive and Trick Attacks for crowd control and some more crit chance. We take Agile for more damage reduction. We take through Countering Smoke Grenade. This allows it to reset more often. We take Dark Shroud through Countering Dark Shroud for more critical strike, and this gives us lots of extra defense. And then we take Deadly Venom for more damage. We take Debilitating Toxin for taking less damage when poisoned, and Andariel's Visage does a great job at proccing these things. Alchemical Advantage, giving us more attack speed. And then we take Haste for more movement speed. And we take Close Quarters Combat. This is a huge multiplier of our damage and is extremely important for stacking lots of crowd control damage on our gear, as we'll see in a moment. And we proc this using either Shadow Step or Invigorating Strike as our Cutthroat skill and Puncture as our Marksman skill. Let's take a look at the gear. We're using Andariel's Visage for proccing the AoE damage. We're using Disobedience for the stacking armor. And we're using Frostburn for freezing everything. And Might for more damage reduction. On the boots we have Shared Misery in order to spread our freeze around. as well as our slow from Puncture. And then we have rapid for more attack speed. And we have Umbrus. This is so that we can get Dark Shrouds continuously on us, and we attack extremely fast with lots of lucky hit chance, so we can easily keep up 5 stacks of it. We are using Aerostorm for more AoE damage, and we're also using Elements for more damage, similar to Edgemasters, more damage as well. Asher's gives us a nice attack speed bonus, and it also has lucky hit chance and damage to crowd controlled, which is very nice for this build. Very ideal. One thing to point out is we do want to get lucky hit chance and critical strike chance on our rings, and we also, on our amulet, want to get frigid finesse in order to get a nice huge damage multiplier that synergizes greatly with Frostburn. Specializations. It doesn't matter. Pick whichever one looks fancier to you. We don't use any. Let's take a look at the Paragon tree. On our first board, we take Chip for a nice damage multiplier when we use Puncture. Then on the next board, we go into Cunning Stratagem, mainly for some nice defense nodes, armor here. We've got resists here, and then here we got a nice huge basic skill damage node, giving us a lot more damage for Puncture throughout all of these here. And then we're taking Exploit Glyph to get a nice vulnerable on our enemies. And then our next board, we have Exploit Weakness for a nice damage multiplier. And we also have Control, which gives us a nice 20% damage multiplier when frozen, synergizing nicely. And the biggest thing, though, is that damage to crowd control enemies in order to get a lot of value from our close quarters combat. And then our next board, we go into Cheap Shot board. This gives us a damage multiplier that stacks up as we crowd control enemies nearby. And then we have Diminish in order to get more value out of our rare nodes, which gives us this nice huge damage to crowd controlled enemies, as well as damage reduction from slowed enemies. And then our last board here is Tricks of the Trade, which we take the Devious glyph here in order to get more value out of the rare nodes, giving us more damage to elites and armor. And then we're also taking it for the damage multiplier when we crowd control enemies, which we do a lot of. And then simply a few other nodes here for getting more damage reduction from close enemies and damage to them. If you ever wanted to play a build that was simple, powerful, and bugless, now is your chance to do it. And even if you don't decide to try this build, hopefully it inspires you to make your own. Never let your means be dreams. Go out there, have fun, and experiment. If you like this content, help me out by hitting subscribe and dropping a comment below. Thanks. Bye-bye.